Hi, everybody. This is Steve Maggi from SMA Law Firm. Welcome to Building the Bridge. I have the honor of being here with Jacob Willemsen, the founder of Transatlantic Business Services in New York. Thanks so much for joining us, Jacob.
Happy to be here, Steve.
So we've known each other a long time, and one of the things we have in common is we're both immigrants, we're entrepreneurs, and we have the pleasure of working with entrepreneurs from all over the world. How important is it to what you do and what drives you and your ability to help others, having empathy, knowing where they're coming from, having been in their shoes professionally and personally?
Yeah, thanks for asking, because it is true that after I left the Foreign Service, I worked for the Netherlands Consulate General, and I started my own entity. There were really not very clear, and obviously I'm dating myself a little bit, but there were not very clear instructions on what rules apply and where do you find that info. So I experienced firsthand how hard it is to actually get straight answers. Much harder. I used to have a company myself in the Netherlands before I moved to the US. Much harder than in many European countries where everything has been kind of filtered out. Here, it depends much more on the state, on the circumstance. The US in general the government is not as dominant in regulating matters. So I experienced firsthand how difficult it can be to find the right information, and how much of an ominous feeling it is to know that you don't know everything, but you know that you don't know everything, but you don't know what you're missing. And that's what a lot of European clients of ours are experiencing as well. So in that way, it's very nice for them to know that we have done this for many European clients before. We know what the experience is like ourselves, and what they have to go through. Plus, we also know how, in general, how it works in Europe. So what the differences are compared to the US. I think that's very important. So the other thing I feel is the excitement for us to help European companies in this market. That is my driver. It's very exciting. And whether it's a hotel chain or whether it's computer software, for me, it's really trying to put myself in their shoes, try to understand their business model as much as possible, understand what their ambitions are, and then what would I do in that situation? Where would I start? What would my approach be? Depending on their risk adversity, how fast, or perhaps they have an exit strategy, well, then you're much less risk taking. So you try to basically, on their behalf, advise them how you would do it. And that's something that excites me.
There's an expression.
It's like I start up a new company myself every day.
Well, that's also what keeps it fresh for me too, is that every entrepreneur we work with is enthusiastic, and they're really excited about doing business in the US, and they're bringing some new product or service that maybe we haven't even seen. And it's on us to make sure that we're guiding them the right way. And that's why I love working with Tabs. There's an expression in America, been there, done that. And I think that's what makes us special and unique in a lot of ways, is we've been through the experience personally, we go through it professionally, and then we live it through our clients, because every case is different. Things are always changing, and we're having to adapt and help our clients adapt, right?
Yeah, and we allow our clients to benefit from things that we may have seen wrong in other cases. Of course, having been around in this business now for almost 25 years, I've seen my fair share of companies that had to pull out for one reason or another, and the next can learn from that experience if I share it with them.
That's what they say, that the difference between intelligence and wisdom, right, is being wise means learning from other people's mistakes, not just learning from your own. So we've seen so many mistakes that people can learn from the ones we've seen over all these years, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and also it's of course the fearmonger. It's not going to work. I feel that we need to focus on what is possible for these companies in the US, rather than that in Europe they may feel like, oh, the US it's a country with so much product liability, professional liability. Listen, if a US competitor can make it in the US market, you can surely do it as well. Because you have one other benefit as a European headquarter, and that is to some extent you can shield your downward exposure by keeping your European entity isolated from your US activities. So your downward exposure is basically limited to your US activity.
Right.
And your US competitor puts everything on the line.
It's a great point, Jacob. So if you're a foreign entrepreneur, business owner, and you want to work with someone who's been in your shoes, how do they contact you, Jacob?
They can always contact us through bizdev@tapsinc.com. We have a business development team that's very experienced. They can always set up a free call with you. Basically take your business case and do a quick scan and guide you in the right direction.
Thanks for all you do, Jacob, and thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, Steve. Bye-bye.